Stage 2 lock door is closed down. Vehicles on internal power.
This is live, guys. Cape Canaveral, Florida. Typically, I will annualize the video afterwards because that's just typically how I do it. But they're doing this launch pretty late. You know, typically launches they're launched in middle of the night. Here on the East Coast, around 4 or 5 o'clock a.m. But why not show it live, right? Less than a minute out. One more thing before I let them take over with audio for a little bit. See this little gadget? We're 41 seconds now. This is recently new, guys. For everyone who is open-minded. It used to be flat until, I'll leave that up to your imagination, but the curvature map is new.
T-minus 15 seconds.
T-minus 15 seconds.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff. With gratitude to our veterans today and always, go USA.
Falcon 9 is pitching downrange.
This is Starlink, guys. Elon Musk, SpaceX, for the quote-unquote world to have satellite, meaning internet. We'll save that for a different video. They're called sea cables, guys. It's a fact.
Power and telemetry is nominal.
Look at the curve, guys.
We are T plus 55 seconds into launch, and we've had a on-time.
It's not going straight up. It's going west to east.
Q, that is the maximum aerodynamic pressure that the vehicle will see during ascent.
Miss Liberty, Kimberly, Bear, George. What's up, guys?
Maximum aerodynamic pressure.
And there's that call out for Max Q. Coming up next is a rapid succession of events, starting off with main engine cutoff, or what we call MECO, followed immediately by stage separation. That's the separation of the first stage from the second stage. And then seconds after will be the lighting of our second stage engine, which we call second engine.
Firmament.
That is coming up here in about 45 seconds.
Impact engine chill.
And we've got a...
I'm open-minded, though, guys. I know I might be trolling a little bit, but I just don't like being lied to. Seriously, I don't like being lied to. You don't either.
Joining us, we are 30 seconds away from main engine cutoff, stage separation, and SES-1.
Who wants to see that right now? Seriously, out of all the beautiful
what you see
views,
on your screen, you should be able to see the stages separate.
Out of all the beautiful views of Earth, why are you going to show us it? What? This is what I'm talking about, guys. I don't want to look into a black hole.
Stage separation confirmed.
Yeah, that's why. Now they're in space.
On your left screen, we had MECO and stage separation. On your right screen, we should see that second engine startup.
Seriously, guys.
And there's that second stage engine.
What's up, Bear
glowing
Arms?
Bright red. Coming up next in about 30 seconds is fairing deployment. Now, a reminder, this fairing is being flown for a second time, which is a first in SpaceX history.
Wow.
What you can see on your screen, on the left screen, those grid fins have been deployed.
Also, guys, notice, again, I typically analyze these videos. Oh, they just cut the feed. Notice Earth. Look at this. I'm pausing it. It's not. I paused it for a second. Look at this line, guys. They just had two splits. They had two split screens. Now this is. Leave it up to you guys.
This is the first reflight of our fairing, so such an exciting mission this morning already.
How high are we?
As the second stage continues to orbit with those 60
121
satellites on top,
kilometers.
Stage 1 is making its way home for the fourth time. Now, Stage 1 is going to execute 2 burns before hopefully it's standing there on our drone ship. The first one will be the entry burn, which occurs at about T plus 6 minutes and 23 seconds, so a little over 2 minutes from now. That's where we're going to relight 3 of those Merlin engines and slow the vehicle down such that it can safely re-enter the atmosphere. From there, the booster will coast for just under a minute and a half, and then execute what is called the landing burn. That is where we're going to reignite a single engine, that E9 engine right in the middle of the booster, slowing the vehicle down to 0 velocity, hopefully standing right there up on the...
Bare arms, it was concave. Correct. And there's there's numerous reasons for that to be concave. This screen, you see a quote unquote curve, right? When it's concaved, instantly you know it's a fisheye lens. Because, guys, just look at footage that I've shown you guys, from drone footage where to even at ground level with a fisheye lens will show you a either curved Earth or concaved at ground level. But this is my opinion only, a different level of technology.
That MVAC engine is powering that second stage of those satellites with 250,000 pounds of thrust.
The screen left, folks. This is real. Screen left, that is coming down like a pencil, and it's going to land like it. I grew up with rockets, guys. Again, till this day, I'm a wrestling nerd, I guess, because I'm still fascinated with space. But if I see bogus BS, I'll call it out. Look to the left, guys. It's gonna land like a pencil.
Should go for another 5 seconds or so.
What is this? Why does the curve constantly switch at the same exact altitude? SpaceX.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
Jason Morse. Elon's cars
As
have
just
more
heard, we
campers.
had a
What the
successful
hell?
shutdown of that entry burn.
Cameras. I'm sorry,
So
guys.
for about
I
another
don't
minute
have.
and a half, Stage 1 is going to coast, making its way down to the drone ship.
I do not have a second computer, so as far as comments, we're typing back. Look, see the camera going out? Guys, it's 2020 in a month, couple months, couple weeks. Seriously. But they lose contact. Yep, that's... Again, guys, I'm not trolling because I don't want to believe. I I'm fascinated with space, and I do respect Elon. That being said, if you do work for a organization, you are under the thumb of the U.S. government, NASA. Bear arms.
Stage 1 transonic.
Camera. They constantly lose feed in low Earth orbit, folks. Again, this isn't high space. This is considered LEO, not law enforcement. But in 1960, we took a piss on the moon, excuse my language, and called the president. Seriously, like, wake up. You guys are, but I'm
just under 10 seconds. That
right.
landing burn should start.
There's millions of people watching right now who don't question this. Why is it straight for a second? Why is it?
Stage 1 landing burn.
You go. Wake up.
We don't have that video just yet, but that landing burn has started.
Brian,
Second stage is
they don't
entered terminal
know.
guidance.
God has had enough.
Stage 1 landing leg deployed.
Miss Q, my name is Billy.
Looks like we're not going to get video on the way down. Oh, but we'll have the drone ship.
Wow. So convenient.
Wow.
No issues.
The Falcon has landed for the 4th time. Amazing. These boosters are designed to be used 10 times. Let's turn it around.
Why would they cut the feed, guys, when this rocket was coming back to Earth? Let's listen to this young.
That is super cool. So stage 2, I believe, we have.
Guys, right here. Right here. Every launch. I don't know if it's. Again, guys, it takes multiple people to even send a rocket, just say, in low Earth orbit, right? Multiple people, obviously, on camera angles, at the controls, etc., not including the rocket prep. They always show this, whatever it is. It looks like liquid to me. Again, if they're using certain technology to fool us, I guess I would say. What is this?
Go 1. We're going to enter a coast phase. Before we do that, we're going to take a quick break. Sorry, it's very exciting over here. As we leave.
She was shocked that was on the screen for that long, guys, because typically it's less than a half a second. It's on the screen at every launch.
Going to have an animation that shows you where we are in the coast phase, but we're going to be
How are you,
back
Kimberly?
here at T plus 44 minutes.
Oh, we lost the feed in 2020.
All right, we'll be back at T plus 44 minutes for a second stage relight, followed up by payload deploy. So come on back.
Oh, we're staying. I'm saying it's 2020. I know it's not, but it's basically almost. Guys, it's 2020. Why are they showing you CGI? This is for all the people who believe, or people on the fence. I don't claim to know it all. Trust me. I want actual footage. It's right off the coast of New Jersey. Right off the Jersey, New York. We'll say now it's almost Maine. It's right off the coast of Maine, and there's no live footage. Pretty odd. Oh. But we are waking up. Thank you, Lynn. Miss Q, I know when someone is taking the... Elon Musk knows very little about space. And, again, it's a shame because, I don't watch television, as far as actors but I don't know. I just always liked Elon, right? One, guys, he went to Congress and he mentioned how much he can shoot a laser versus how much NASA pays. The money is ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like Elon does it for $1 and NASA could do it for $1,000. Like on a level like that. Seriously, $1 versus $1,000. And you're telling me that Elon is smarter than the US government? Not so much. Elon is one brain versus the smartest heads in the world. Some of the smartest heads. I don't know if I could play that music. They're not even over the ocean, folks. They're unbelievable. Can build a rocket like that with items from a Dollar Tree. The best one that gets me, guys. Again, I still look. They're losing fake CGI, or excuse me, real CGI. They're losing even their fake map. Honestly, folks, I'm like a kid on Christmas Day, waiting to see how the graphics are going to look when they quote unquote go to Mars, right? Because it's not just one entity. So again, guys, at one time, about 7 minutes ago, they were about an hour from my house. They just flew over the ocean. About 2 hours. 2 hours. And they lost service. Again, you guys are awake, but when I say, like, you guys have to start asking questions, like, why show us this fake stuff? There are thousands of regular satellites out there. There are satellites out there that are in geostationary, which means that they are fixed and they do not rotate. Whatever. Again, guys, I know the scientific terminology, but just pretty crazy, guys. Is that better, guys, on the screen? Or is it being brighter or lighter? George, there is no satellites out there. Yes and no. I can show you that there are satellites, but they're not like we're told. Meaning, if you whatever search engine you use, it will tell you that there's thousands and thousands and thousands that are out there. Most of them are done on a balloon. A balloon and high altitude aircraft, such as the U-2 and others that we're not privy to at this time, that are still classified. Again, guys, the U-2 spy plane, which is one of the best planes in current time, that's 1960s technology. The plane, I'm not speaking about the camera system. Of course, they can update the cameras, but this really makes you think. And again, guys, like I always say, if research for yourself. Helium shortage. There's a helium shortage. This is live, so I don't know. I guess the rocket went back. Let's speed it up a little bit. Because I did pause it. This is live. Oh, crossed over Ireland and the United Kingdom. On a serious note, guys, I never saw it this long without them commentating. I think somebody just got fired from the beginning of this video. Remember how long I showed you guys the what appeared to be water? They never go this long without saying anything. Helium is used in a special way. Well, helium, yeah, there's numerous ways, folks. If you have not seen that video that I made on gasoline, guys, watch that video because it affects everybody. Also, aircrafts, guys, it's a farce. 50% of the price of your ticket to fly is because of fuel. The M1 Abram, the number one tank that we use here in America, that has a jet engine in it. A jet engine. They use compressed air. Then you go down in the water, talk about submarines, how they launch torpedoes. It's compressed air. I'm not pulling this out of a hat, guys. I'll show you the evidence. That being said, there is fuel. I'm not a person who denies fuel. But we're being lied to. And, you know, all engines are created differently. Again, guys, I don't deny fuel. But as far as like the new F-22 Raptor goes, yeah. So many people, they just don't ask questions. I can't believe that they're not showing anybody. I have Elon Musk, coming from his own mouth, folks. He has a new vehicle coming out, or it might even be out. It's the top of the line one. The top of the line vehicle. Again, coming from his own mouth, he said there are rocket thrusters on this vehicle. And then the person who was interviewing him asked, how are they going to work? And the reply was compressed air. So I have Elon saved, coming from his own mouth. I'll show you. I'll make a video with the submarines, as far as in the jet engine. But again, guys, they tell you that 50% of the cost to fly is because of fuel. They're snakes, guys. They're snakes. I'm demonetized, guys. I know there's some new people in the chat, so it's ad-free. The links are down below. I have a PayPal, a Patreon, and a P.O. Box. You can leave a tip, or greatly, greatly appreciated. And I'm sorry, I don't have the second computer, so I'm just looking at comments for the second time. Darlene, how are you? George Sanford, all space agencies have a vector in the room. Bunch of snakes, indeed. Roger, they're snakes. Again, and you're talking again. I love we all have hobbies, right? Wrestling, 2A, and adrenaline junkie, right? I have a street bike, I told you guys. I've been riding my whole life. They tell you that planes land, guys. They're doing hundreds of miles per hour. I was going to upload it last night, but it was pretty late. I'm going to do it after this SpaceX video. Again, it's amazing tech. I love aircraft, even though that there's snakes about it. You know, it's just they're unbelievable that something that size can go that slow or maneuver like. But the facts are being suppressed. This is insane. If you're new, if you're just popped in, guys, late, right before they entered this screen, typically I do a video analysis of every SpaceX or every launch in general. And for a split second, not even, again, it's less than a half a second, guys, that they show, again, I don't know what it is. I even made multiple videos where it looks like a pool. Not a pool, but it, again, guys, I know what liquid looks like. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. I'll go back.
That is super cool. So stage 2, I believe.
And then watch her reaction, because first time ever they left it on the screen for that long, guys.
We have Petsiko 1. We're gonna enter.
That was almost 2 seconds.
Space. Before we do that, we're going to take a quick break. Sorry, it's very exciting over here. As we leave, we're going to have an animation that shows you where we are in the coast phase. But we're going to be back here at T plus 40.
What is that, guys? Seriously, what is that? I'm not being funny. I don't want to hear inside of a rocket. This is some type of liquid. My opinion, this is where they're filming the Earth for the rocket videos. Darlene, reality not fiction. Put up your P.O. box for Lynn, please. Everything's in the description box, guys. I know a lot of you guys are using your phone, but
Ship.
If you're just joining in, they're still live, guys, but rather than show you guys the animation, I want to show you guys this. Check this out. See a curve? And then this screen, the left side's going to land.
And at T
First and
plus.
second stage continue to follow a nominal trajectory.
It's frozen. Look, guys. And then we lost the feed.
Just under a minute, that landing burn should start.
Look right hand side. Check out the curvature. Watch. We went from curvature to, guys, that's flat. That's flat. Don't make me pick up my computer screen. That's flat.
Stage 1 transonic.
Have an animation that shows you where we are in the coast phase, but we're going to be back here at T plus 44 minutes. All right, we'll be back at T plus 44.
So they're going to be coming back live at T plus 44 minutes, she said. In the meantime, helium shortage, helium shortage, helium shortage, helium shortage. The worldwide helium shortage affects everything from MRIs to rockets. Again, guys, I don't know it all, right? Live. Over Saudi Arabia. Just use your imagination. Why do you think there's a helium shortage? That's a crane, guys. We've all been on the highway. Oversized. They have a truck in the front and the back. That's a crane. Some of these balloons, guys, again, it's not secret. Anyone could look it up. Some of the balloons get as large as a football field and larger. And if you think you have cable or internet because of satellites, you are incorrect, folks. You are incorrect. They're sea cables. Look at that. Remember last week? I won't say the company, but a well-known company landed just like the Truman Show, 1998, that movie. It landed on somebody's backyard. Look at that. Guys, look at that orb. That's pretty crazy. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Guys, this is like government money right here. The balloons that go up to the max that I ever saw was 120,000 feet. And the balloon was, it could fit in a vehicle. I showed you guys a size comparison from this balloon to the crane. So just think about how high they could really get this up. Again, I'm on standby, guys. I'm still live with SpaceX. Little over 4 minutes until they come back on live. So a little bit over 4 minutes until they come back live. But I just want to show you guys today's launch. It's part of the Starlink. 42,000 satellites. This should be comedy. It makes me laugh. First SpaceX Starlink mission. Why 60 satellites? I'm sorry, you guys can't see. Check out the top video, folks. Is that a straight line? Kind of looks like the Walt Disney logo. If you had a castle in the middle. Meanwhile, Walt Disney was very good friends with Von Braun. SpaceX Starlink satellite train at dusk. This is what I'm looking for.
Communication system by SpaceX.
I like German accents when they're talking about space because, hey, the Germans started our space program. I just want to show you guys the grid on the ball right here. So we're less than 4 minutes until they go live. Guys, this is an insult to your intelligence. I know it we could laugh about it because we know. But look, they even put Santa's North Pole. This isn't a children's channel, guys. This is an insult to your intelligence. And if you think this is real, I'm speechless. Seriously. But this is the mission of Starlink, what Elon. Do you see this gap, guys? This is real. Notice this is Alaska is gigantic, guys. This is the Bering Strait. So no satellites. See this line, guys? This is 60 degrees north. 60 degree north and 60 degrees south is off limits to satellites. I wonder why. I wonder why. Look, Santa Claus at the North Pole. Oh, this one shows it. This is incorrect. This I don't want to. Yeah, this is incorrect. It's 60 degrees north and 60 degrees south. Satellites are prohibited. Again, don't ask me why. I'm just telling you that for a fact. Look at some comments, guys. I'm sorry, I don't have my normal rig set up, so. Look, I make it look like the sun. Must be getting dark out. 3 teens and a toddler. Good morning. They want our children and grandchildren. We have to fight. We have to educate them. We have to educate them. Again, guys, we live in a system where we cannot just remove the awake people, right? But when your kids come home with homework, with a ball, you can teach them reality. But obviously,
Welcome back to the webcast for Star.
it's very tough having kids because they have to believe your teachers.
But we are still getting telemetry, so you may see that video cut in and out a little bit right now. But so far we've had a on-time liftoff, completed the first reflight of a fairing, the first time that we've flown and landed a first stage booster, and we also did confirm nominal insertion or good orbit of the second stage. So coming up next is SES-2 in about 20 seconds from now, and this will be the shortest SES we've ever had, lasting just about 1 second. It's a short burn because the deployment orbit for these satellites isn't much different than our initial parking orbit, so we just need a quick burn to get us there.
Very basic.
Waiting for that SES-2.
Just
and
a quick
SEGO-2.
burn.
It's going to be very quick. And there it is. And second engine cutoff is complete. Waiting to hear for good orbit. Should hear that call out in a few seconds.
Nominal orbit insertion for satellite deploy.
And there is the confirmation of good orbit. Now that we're in a good orbit, we'll be coasting for the next 15 minutes or so. So we will be back around T+1 hour for the exciting payload deployment of our Starlink satellites.
Unbelievable. Kimberly, oh, I miss you. Never thought of it that way. I'll check out some comments. Human Resources has a whole meeting. Yes, most parents are deaf to this. My own daughter is. Darlene, no, for some reason, there again, this is normally they they will talk and describe what's going on. You know, today's again, I think didn't start too well. They were about an hour off the coast of America where that screen popped up. Intercourse me? Pathetic? Blue boiling water. Hey, since they're not live, we'll go back to that screen for people. I made numerous videos of not asking you guys before, what do you guys think that it was? Where was it? What time was that? Right here.
We're going to enter a coast. These boosters are designed to be used 10 times. Let's turn it around for a fifth, guys. Wow. Fourth landing. That is super cool. So stage.
How much, like, does this weigh? You think these little tiny fins? Ridiculous.
I believe we.
This is the $1 million shot, folks. You could be a NASA fanboy, SpaceX. I don't care. Just explain to me what this is. And why is it in every launch for less than a half a second besides this launch, where this happened in the very beginning stage, and ever since this popped up, for some reason, rather than speaking like they typically do, they are just showing a CGI of a ball. I'm ready for answers. Looks like that silly sand kid's blue raspberry Slurpee. Oh man. What's up, Michael? Lynn? Seriously. Tell me what this is. This is the $1 million money shot. Guys, we're all familiar with like CGI, right? We're familiar with just the technology that we have, right? The average person, let alone what, yes, they do have a budget, but what do they have to show for it? What do they, like, again, guys, this is, even though this is SpaceX, it's with obviously NASA's help. But what are they doing with the money?
Head Seco 1. We're going to enter a coast phase. Before we do that, we're going to take a quick break. Sorry, it's very exciting over here. As we leave, we're going to have an animation that shows you where.
Inverted view of the gas flame on the burner of a gas range stove. That's interesting. It's, again, I don't know what it is, but my opinion, obviously, guys, if they're even going to show it by accident, that it has something to do with this rocket launch. Obviously, right? They wouldn't just, all of a sudden show a highway, right? Whoever is in the control room, every camera that's used is for this specific launch. Seriously. So obviously this device has something to do with the space launch. Pretty crazy, like that triangle right here. But again, guys, I'm open. I don't know what this is, but it kind of looks like a liquid. Some type of liquid. And then see this long pole? Who knows? This might be like a camera. Just think, what if they were using this for Earth, and this is some high-tech camera, where once you, I don't know, I'm open-minded. Go ahead in the middle. Yeah, it's pretty weird. They're all about their satanic. Definitely see a go ahead. That's very satanic. Who brought up the go ahead? Man, that thing looks evil. That thing looks evil. This is what they are deploying, guys. Starlink. So many people have no idea about this, guys.
Or emailed someone on another continent or browsed a foreign website, you can dial up some gratitude for something that happened a century and a half ago.
It's been 150 years since the first transatlantic cable began ushering in global communications. And now tech giants are taking that undersea revolution a big step further. Here's Mark Albert.
Again, guys, it's very easy to miss keywords. He said tech giants. Tech giants.
When you pick up the phone to reach out and touch someone across the oceans, it's only possible because of ships like the Global Sentinel.
This is the lame stream. Every phone call you make, guys, seriously. Why do we have cell phone towers? They're a weapon.
This is cable tank number 1.
And what am I standing on right now?
You're standing on fiber optic cable that's going to be laid from here towards Brazil.
Yes, Miss Lib.
This is how worldwide communication begins. Jeff Sanders is a captain at TE Connectivity Subcom, which calls itself the world's largest provider of under-ocean fiber optic cable.
They're calling it the same way they did in the 1800s.
The same way they did in the 1800s. Nothing has changed. Not my words. The captain of the entire project, folks.
He gave us a rare view of more than 900 miles of cable spooled tightly by hand in one of 3 side-by-side tanks aboard the ship anchored in the port of Newington in New Hampshire.
So the cable we're walking on right now will be under the ocean carrying my phone calls?
Yes, it will. It's a good chance.
So when I make a phone call across the pond, it's because of these.
Any call you make to South America in the future, could be on this exact cable for the next 20, 25 years. Cable comes right off into the ocean from here.
Robots take over from there, diving to a depth too deep for humans. The machines use water jets to create a trench, allowing the cable to sink into the seabed and become buried.
95% of all telephone and data is transferred over submarine cables.
Not satellite.
Not satellite.
It's what allows us to rely on it. It's what allows
Cables.
not satellite.
Not satellite. Over submarine cables.
Not satellite.
Not satellite. Over submarine cables.
Not satellite.
Not satellite. Over submarine cables.
Not satellite.
Not satellite.
Reputation.
Over submarine cables.
Not satellite.
Not satellite. Over submarine cables.
Not satellite.
Not satellite.
It's what allows us to rely on instant everything. Phone calls, banking, web surfing, email, streaming video, and other communication.
That pretty much sums it up. Banking, phone calls, computer, email. Yeah. Cables, folks.
And it all began 150 years ago.
We have here samples of the early cables from the 1850s.
This is what the first permanent cable looked like under the Atlantic.
Absolutely.
Barney Finn at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History helped string together an exhibit commemorating the 150th anniversary of the first permanent transatlantic cable and the man who assembled the financial, political, and anniversary.
See the cables, guys? Obviously, guys, they want the shortest route, right? That's why this is America. That's why if you live in Florida and you want to fly to England, you don't just go over the ball. Again, imagine if you were looking at it from like a bird's eye view above it. All aircraft fly from the south, fly up the East Coast, just like the cables. The shortest route.
The first permanent transatlantic cable, and the man who assembled the financial, political, and technical prowess to make it happen, entrepreneur Cyrus Field. Some of the items have not been on display in more than a century.
And this indeed is the cable going across the Atlantic.
Late in rough seas, the first few copper cables broke or burnt out. When it finally worked after a decade of failure, Field wrote to his wife on July 27, 1866, "All well, thank God."
Very, very interesting. And then if people are aware of sea cables, they can't elaborate, they say, yeah, they exist. But the reason why I have internet connection because of satellites. I just showed you proof.
About 300 undersea fiber optic cables are responsible for 99% of international.
Now, ABC said 95%. This is Vox, courtesy of VOX. %.
300 undersea fiber optic cables are responsible for 99% of international data traffic. It's basically the same way we connect to each other in a single country, except underwater instead of underground. They transmit PewDiePie from Europe to America, and they connect stock traders in New York and London. And these cables, placed by private companies, are
again, just use your head. If this was a ball, there are 0 cables, folks. This is about the 60 degree right here, north, roughly, right? There is an island up here where there's one cable going.
Backbone of the internet, but If you held one in your hand, it'd be no bigger than a soda can. There are just a few layers of protection from the water, including petroleum jelly. Yes, your internet is covered in Vaseline.
See, life is very simple, guys.
They're vulnerable to earthquakes. At least a few times, confused sharks have bitten them. But many cables are beneath sea life because in some places they go as deep underwater as Mount Everest is high. Ships lower a plow that digs a tiny groove in the ocean floor, lay in the cable, and it's naturally buried by sand thanks to the ocean's current. And that process, it's both stunningly simple and mind-blowingly complex, is responsible for making the internet a truly global network. It's an idea that's...
Okay, guys, they use global. Just recently, like I said, they updated this graph. This was always flat, guys, like the timeline. Over the past few months, now they make it a curve. Oh, she's live.
Totally normal. As you can probably imagine, 60 separate separation systems is super inefficient. It adds mass, it adds complexity, and therefore it adds cost. Instead, we deploy them all at once, allowing them to slowly disperse from one another, and to do so without the use of complex mechanisms. They might even bump into one another, which, if that happens, is totally okay. The satellites were designed with this possibility in mind.
They might bump into each other? I never heard of that before, folks.
All right, we lost the video just there, but let's listen in and see.
Again, if you're just joining, they're about to release. Right now, they are between Australia and Antarctica. And for some reason, they lost feed. Guys, it's 2020. A couple weeks away.
If we have any word on the deployment.
How the hell are we going to go to the moon? Let alone Mars.
Starlink tension rod release confirmed.
They're losing connection in low Earth orbit.
We have confirmation that the tension rods have been released. Let's see if we can get some video of that. That would be really awesome. There we go. Now, as they make their way off, next they'll start to slowly drift apart.
Again, folks, speed, like, they just slowly drift apart, exactly like she says. Wouldn't you think they would just be going in all different directions, like real?
And then deploy their singular solar array pointed at the sun to begin charging their batteries. And over the course of the coming weeks, the satellites will use their onboard ion propulsion systems to raise their orbit to 550 kilometers, align into their orbital planes, and properly space themselves out to providing internet coverage on Earth. And with that, that brings us to...
Thank goodness that they're doing this. We don't already have the internet, right? Jesus.
The end of our webcast for today. So to recap, we had a successful fourth launch of a booster and a successful landing of that same booster. We reflew a fairing successfully for the first time. Both of those things are pretty cool, but also cool, you just saw we deployed 60 more Starlink satellites. This puts us one step closer to being able to offer Starlink internet service to customers across the globe, including people in rural and hard-to-reach places who have struggled for access to high-speed internet.
You want to hear how people get their internet, guys?
Thank you to the 45th Space Wing for range safety, the FAA for licensing today's launch, as well as the FCC for licensing our first operational Starlink satellites. We'd like to thank all of our viewers for tuning in, and again, our deepest gratitude to all of our veterans, both here at SpaceX and across the country. Follow our website and social media.
Appreciate it, sweetheart. I'm going to show you guys reality. Right? I'm going to show you guys in these very tough places, and then I'll end it. I'll let you guys go. Well, right here, folks. This is called Project. Oh, sorry, guys. It's called Project Loon. They should be around 60. Yep, 62,900 feet. These are America. We're deeply invested, obviously, around the world, but in South America, and you could even see the country of right here, the American flag. Look, guys, it's a balloon. Top left corner. The name of this project, again, Project Loon, for hard to reach areas. Now let's check out Africa. Again, for Australia, most of the people live over here, right? All this is pretty much desert. What's that? Balloons. 56,300. Almost 60,000. Project Loon. They even do it for Puerto Rico and in the Caribbean. Here's one here, guys. There's one off the coast of Florida. But they do it at different times. Here's one off the coast of Florida. This one came from New Mexico. That being said, guys, lately I made, I believe, 2 videos about DARPA, right? DARPA, they have high altitude balloons over the states. I just wanted to see if there's any NASA aircraft in the air. Just NOAA. For all my ballers out there, like I said earlier, this is the East Coast of the United States. If you want to go to Europe, folks, again, from Florida, you ride up the East Coast, and no, it's not because of people use excuses in case there's a emergency. They could land on. That's bull crap, guys. That's bull crap. They do it every single day in the largest ocean that we know of, called the Pacific. The Atlantic, it's like a pond compared to the Pacific. Again, guys, very, very, mountainous areas or very, very remote areas. This is South America, and I'll show you Australia one more time. And then normally Africa would have because it's It's odd. We'll go to Australia. Within the last 5 minutes, remember, there was more than 2, to my recollection, I believe. I could do a much more thorough, very short video with obviously evidence and rather than being live, but since we had to see a live launch, I just wanted to show you guys about Project Loon. Question everything. Let's see something.
Platforms for updates on our next missions and milestones. And until next time, I hope you all have a great morning just like we did.
All right, guys, that's it. I appreciate your time. I'll look through the comments. Eyes to the sky. Yeah, again, they're not hiding it. We are in another space race. We know the first one was because of the Cold War. Again, guys, asteroids. Do I believe in them? I'm open. You know, I need more evidence. I know there are certain sites out there and where you can track them. But allegedly we're flying through space. So why only every 10 years or so? You know, we just missed it. It came between Earth and the moon. Like, you think we're that lucky that we could fly through space and not get hit with anything? Seriously, just doesn't make sense. Again, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm not denying asteroids, but I'm just saying when they hit, they're either... Russia is gigantic, folks. Russia is huge, but Moscow is right here. All this, so remote. And that's typically where, where they will hit. Again, out of all the places to hit, just very odd. Just watching the launch and landing. Such. Today was, again, I watch every launch. Today was definitely a disappointment. Yeah, that's real. I got a question for you guys, and then I'll let you guys go. I want to show you one more thing. Back on that horrible day in September,
we can see New York City.
This is from the ISS, folks. And allegedly the ISS went over New York City. Anyone watching know how fast the ISS goes? That we're told. I'm going by the numbers that we're told. 18,000 miles per hour. How could anybody take a clear picture at 18,000 miles? Next time you're on the highway, take a picture doing 60 miles per hour. Guys, 18,000 miles per hour.
and the smoke from the fires. Our prayers and thoughts go out to all the people there and everywhere else. Here I'm looking at
They're stationary. They're not even moving.
on the East Coast to see if I can see anything else. And to the people in Washington.
And Frank, that's an accurate assessment.
And I hope that the people responsible are caught and brought to justice as soon as possible. But first, our prayers and condolences to all involved. And I just wanted the folks to know that their city still looks very beautiful from space. I know it's very difficult for everybody in America right now. And I know folks are struggling very hard to deal with this and recover from it. But the country still looks good. And for New Yorkers, your city still looks great from up here.
I'm looking at comments. 100%, guys. 100%. This was 9/11/2001 from the ISS. And again, people, I'm always open for debate, right? I witnessed the ISS. I filmed the ISS with my telescope. But the timing, guys, the timing is off. So if anyone, the timing is way off. And due to the amount of satellites that are allegedly up there, you cannot be off that by sometimes 20 minutes. But again, guys, that being said, there is something that flies above our head. But I need a little bit more evidence than just calling it the ISS. A little bit more evidence. All right, Patriots, that's it for now. Have a great day, and appreciate your time. And again, I'm sorry. I was not expecting to go live, so I do not have 2 computers up for the comments. I will definitely look through them, though. Thanks, guys.